Across nations, one faith group is triggering a moral and legal reckoning. But beyond the headlines and court rulings lies a deeper question. What now for Jehovah's Witnesses and for religious freedom itself? If you are new here, welcome to our channel. Tell me Dr. K, a channel manipulative religious leaders wish you never discover. If you crave for such deep dives, subscribe and smash the notice bell so that you don't miss what is coming next. On October 24th, 2025, Sweden sent shockwaves through the religious landscape. Swedish authorities rejected the Jehovah's Witnesses' application to state aid, declaring their internal policies violated democratic values. Sweden's 2024 487 Act on State Aid to Religious Communities, a new legislation that ties public funding not just to organizational structure, but to values, non-discrimination, equality, and freedom. According to SST, Jehovah's Witnesses ostracize those who live and deny membership according to sexual orientation or partner choice. Practices that Sweden now considers incompatible with state-supported democracy, an identity under siege. For over a century, Jehovah's Witnesses have preached neutrality. No politics, no war, no interference with government.
So as Christians, what is our position where political matters are concerned? We are neutral. Sometimes people misunderstand this viewpoint. Some have concluded that because we don't promote one human government, that we must be promoting another human government. And whereas some have perceived our Christian neutrality as sheer apathy, others construe our position as a threat. But why can it be said that Jehovah's Witnesses are not a threat, but rather an asset? We conscientiously obey the laws. We support our communities through volunteer service or compulsory civilian service where that exists. And we pay our taxes. It's true we don't vote for political parties or candidates, but neither do we disrupt elections or interfere with those who choose to vote. It's true we don't lobby, campaign, or run for government office, but neither do we criticize those in power, undermine their policies, or demonstrate for political change. It's true we don't sing national anthems, but neither do we discourage others from singing, nor do we make a public spectacle of not singing. We simply don't participate.
But in the 2020s, governments have interfered with them. From Sweden's state funding rejection to Russia's total ban, the group now stands at a crossroads. Leaders warn of persecution, that these actions fulfill prophecy, and they will double down on it. And for members, these oppositions validate their faith, and the governing body is going to capitalize on it and make more money out of this. And not just money, attract more followers, because the Watchtower Society thrives in a state of uncertainty, confusion, and problems.
So here we are, right on the cusp of the outbreak of the Great Tribulation. The article from which our text is taken, entitled "Your Deliverance is Getting Near" in the July 15, 2015 issue of the Watchtower, points out, in harmony with the Scriptures, boiling down a number of scriptural facts, that Babylon the Great will be destroyed. Then, the initial part of the Great Tribulation will be cut short. There will be a brief respite during which the majority of mankind will seek refuge in human organizations. Our message of good news will change to one of judgment. Then the coalition of nations, referred to as Gog of Magog, will be bent on attacking Jehovah's anointed ones and their associates. Now, only loyal love for Jehovah, obedient support of his anointed ones, will get us through. That will mean everything. So what must we do now? Stay awake. You have an identity.
But internally, the mood is shifting. Legal losses and social backlash, ex-members' activism. The pressure is mounting. Legal implications. State scrutiny is no longer symbolic. When governments withdraw funding or threaten deregistration, they challenge not just religious practice, but legal status. In Sweden, the decision set a precedent. No democratic alignment, no public support. In Russia, being labeled extremist criminalized even private worship. Courts in Norway, Belgium, Australia all pushed definitions of religious cohesion, freedom, and harm. This is testing the outer limit of what courts allow as religious freedom. Financial and organizational impact. The financial impact is staggering. Millions in state aid lost across Europe. Lawsuits multiplying. Organizationally, the Jehovah's Witnesses are being forced to adapt. Legal departments expanding. Public reaction campaigns increasing. Internal policies scrutinized than never before. The core doctrines like Shunning haven't changed. And that's where the pressure will keep on building. Of course, the organization has changed the language. Instead of disfellowshipping, they are calling it removal. They now have allowed a greeting when a disfellowshipped person comes to the meeting. That elders can now pay a visit beyond the initial visit. Here is a clip that highlights the cosmetic changes the Watchtower Society has made to Shunning. Immediately after Norway's deregistration, after the state funding for the Watchtowers was stopped and the organization deregistered.
The governing body has prayerfully considered how Jehovah's mercy could be better reflected when dealing with wrongdoers in the congregation. And that's led to a clearer understanding of 3 scriptures. In keeping with the scriptural admonition at 1 Corinthians 5:11, when a person has been removed from the congregation, we stop keeping company with that person, not even eating with such a man. That means we don't socialize with those who are removed from the congregation. However, that does not mean that a Christian could not invite a disfellowshipped person to attend a congregation meeting. That disfellowshipped person could be a relative, a former Bible student, or someone we were close to in the past. How appropriate this adjustment is at this time, as we're preparing for the most important meeting of the year, the memorial, which will be held on Sunday, March 24th. What if a disfellowshipped person comes to a congregation meeting? Under our current arrangement, we don't say a greeting to individuals who've been removed from the congregation. However, the governing body has decided that publishers can use their Bible-trained conscience to decide whether to give a simple greeting and welcome a disfellowshipped individual who attends a congregation meeting.
Hi, so good to see you here.
Thank you.
While we wouldn't have an extended conversation or socialize with such a person, we do not need to ignore him completely.
Social fallout and cultural shifts. Socially, the walls are closing in. Former members are organizing, sharing stories of family estrangement, abuse cover-up, gender inequality, podcasts, documentaries, ex-member platforms. They are reaching millions. Mainstream media is no longer neutral. Courts are listening. Governments are taking notes. Meanwhile, younger members are asking tough questions. Can I be loyal to my faith and still support equality? Marry somebody from another faith? These are the cracks that will define the future. So what does this mean for religious freedom? Can a faith demand unquestioning loyalty? and still expect state protection? Can governments protect minority rights without policing belief? Jehovah's Witnesses may be the current target, but the ripple effects go wider. So don't celebrate if you are an opponent to the Jehovah's Witnesses. If the state can withhold funding over Shunning, what about Catholic confessions, Orthodox gender roles, Muslim dress codes? We are entering a new time where freedom of belief meets the force of democratic values. The line is being drawn, and everyone, governments, believers, ex-members, must decide where they stand. Even though this is the final episode, the discussion and the controversy continues. If you have enjoyed this 3-part deep dive, like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that you don't miss what is coming next. To watch part 1 of this episode, click on this link.